You see, real love doesn't need performance. It doesn't hide behind pretty words or digital affection. It shows up in emotional presence. When he loves you, you don't have to chase reassurance. You just feel it in your body, in your breathing, in the calm that replaces anxiety. Because the man who truly loves you doesn't make you question his intentions. He gives you peace in place of panic. He gives you calm in place of chaos. He gives you something most people spend years searching for, emotional safety. And yet, it's easy to confuse attention with affection. It's easy to mistake effort for love. Sometimes he calls, he texts, he checks in, but his words feel hollow. You feel unseen. That's not love. That's connection without depth. Because love, real love, doesn't just speak, it listens. It doesn't just promise, it shows, and it doesn't disappear when things get quiet. The man who loves you doesn't vanish into the distance, he becomes your constant through it. He knows that love is not about proximity, it's about presence. Think about it. Love that's real doesn't make you doubt yourself. It doesn't leave you guessing where you stand. It doesn't make you shrink, overthink, or chase clarity that should come naturally. It builds you, it steadies you, it grows with you, even when life pulls you apart. When love is true, distance can't break it. Because distance can't kill what's rooted in trust. It can't destroy what's built on emotional truth. It can't erase what's genuine, because what's real doesn't fade when it's far. It grows in the quiet, it matures in the space, it strengthens in the waiting. So if you're wondering right now whether he loves you, stop listening to the noise. Listen to the pattern. Look at how he shows up when things aren't easy. Look at the consistency behind his affection. Look at the calm in your heart when he's around, even virtually. That calm, that's your answer. Because love that's real will never make you question its existence. It will never leave you feeling like you're the only one trying. It will meet you halfway, even when halfway feels like a world apart. And maybe that's the beauty of distance. It teaches you the difference between needing attention and receiving love, between being wanted and being valued, between someone who fills your time and someone who fills your soul. Because real love doesn't need constant reminders. It just needs truth, effort, and two hearts willing to stay soft, even when the world in between feels cold. If he loves you, you'll know. Not because he tells you every day, but because his presence, even from miles away, will feel like home. But here's what most people don't realize. Love isn't proven by constant contact. It's proven by presence that doesn't fade when the world goes quiet. When a man truly loves you, he doesn't disappear when life gets heavy. He doesn't vanish when you need reassurance. He stays not because it's easy, but because he chooses to. Love that endures distance isn't impulsive, it's intentional. It's built on the quiet promise that no matter how far apart you are, you're still on the same side. That kind of love doesn't shout, it shows. It doesn't demand, it gives. It doesn't rush, it waits. Because deep love isn't about chasing constant validation. It's about emotional trust, the kind that doesn't collapse when miles stretch between you. When he truly cares, you won't need to beg for his attention. His consistency will speak louder than any declaration of love. It's in the messages he sends without being asked, the check-ins that feel sincere, not routine, the way he remembers what matters to you, even when life tries to distract him. That's not coincidence, that's care. Real love isn't built on intensity, it's built on reliability. And the longer you go, the more you realize that effort is the purest form of love. But distance will test that effort. It will expose what's real and what's weak. When you don't see his face, when you can't feel his touch, your heart will start looking for proof. Your mind will start playing tricks, whispering doubts that grow louder with every unanswered text. That's when love either breaks or becomes unshakable. The man who truly loves you doesn't feed your anxiety, he calms it. He doesn't make you chase. He meets you in the middle. He doesn't use the distance as an excuse. He uses it as a reason to show up harder. Because love without effort isn't love. It's comfort. And comfort fades. But effort, real effort, builds something sacred, trust. There's a reason consistency feels so powerful. It rewires your nervous system. It replaces uncertainty with peace. Every time he keeps his word, every time he shows up when he says he will, your body relaxes a little more. That's what emotional safety feels like. It's the foundation of every lasting connection. And when you feel that kind of safety, you stop overanalyzing every silence. You stop wondering if you're enough, because love that's real doesn't make you question your worth. It reminds you of it. The right man doesn't make you doubt his feelings. He makes you feel secure enough to grow without fear. But not everyone knows how to love like that. Some only know chaos. They confuse emotional instability with passion. They mistake drama for depth. They create distance not because of miles, but because of avoidance. When love is immature, it hides. It blames the distance. It says, I'm just busy. It offers excuses instead of effort. And deep down you know it. You feel the difference between someone who reaches out and someone who drifts away, between someone who builds connection and someone who maintains control. Real love doesn't need to manipulate to stay alive. It thrives in honesty, transparency, and shared effort. And maybe this is the part where you realize something important. You deserve love that doesn't leave you guessing. You deserve someone whose actions match their words, someone who brings peace to your heart instead of noise to your mind, someone who makes you feel chosen, not tolerated. The distance between you shouldn't make you feel smaller. It should remind you how strong your bond really is. If it doesn't, maybe the distance isn't the problem. Maybe it's showing you the truth, because when love is real, you'll never feel like you're begging for scraps of connection. You'll feel nourished by it, even when you're apart. So don't chase intensity, chase consistency. Don't settle for attention, demand presence. Don't confuse being wanted with being valued. Love that's real doesn't need constant validation, it just needs truth. And if that truth scares someone away, let it. Because the kind of man who truly loves you won't run from depth. He'll run toward it. He'll make you feel safe enough to be yourself, to open, to trust. And that's the kind of love that distance can't destroy. Because love like that doesn't fade when tested. It strengthens. It grows roots in the silence, loyalty in the waiting, and peace in the unknown. That's the love that lasts. That's the love you deserve. You know what hurts most about love from afar? It's not the silence. It's not the waiting. It's the uncertainty that creeps in when your heart is trying to hold on to something it can't touch. But here's the truth. Love isn't meant to keep you in doubt. It's not meant to leave you questioning your worth or begging for crumbs of reassurance. Real love brings peace, not confusion. It gives more than it takes. It stays grounded even when everything else feels out of reach. The man who loves you doesn't let distance turn into disconnection. He finds ways to remind you that you're still his choice every single day. Because when love is real, it doesn't need to shout to be heard. It moves quietly, but it moves with strength. It's in the consistency of his tone, the sincerity in his words, the way his care shows up in moments that matter. You can feel it without asking. You can sense it without proof. That's what makes it powerful. Because love that survives distance isn't about constant presence. It's about emotional security. It's about knowing that even when he's far away, he's still with you in spirit, in thought, in intention. That's not fantasy. That's what commitment looks like when it's honest. But here's what most forget. Distance doesn't ruin love, it reveals it. It strips away the illusion and leaves you with truth. If someone's love is shallow, time will wash it away. But if it's real, time will deepen it. The ones who love with depth don't let space become separation. They use it to build something stronger. They use it to prove that love isn't about convenience, it's about connection. And that connection doesn't fade because it's not built on moments, it's built on meaning. It's built on shared values, mutual trust, and a sense of belonging that doesn't need to be constantly validated. That's the kind of love that grows roots deeper than distance could ever reach. Still, there's something you need to understand. Love alone isn't enough if you're the only one nurturing it. You can't be the one holding the whole thing together with effort that's never returned. If you're the one always reaching, always waiting, always hoping, that's not love anymore. That's emotional survival. And you deserve more than survival. You deserve reciprocity. You deserve to be met with the same energy you give. Because love is not a one-way street. It's two souls choosing each other again and again, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. If he loves you, he won't let you drown in uncertainty. He won't let silence become your new normal. He'll reach out because he wants to, not because he feels obligated. He'll make the effort not because you ask, but because he can't imagine you feeling unseen. That's how love behaves when it's genuine. It takes responsibility for its impact. It understands that affection without effort is empty, that connection without consistency is chaos, and that trust can't survive in a place where communication dies. But this isn't just about him, it's about you. It's about remembering that your value isn't determined by how much someone misses you, but by how much you respect yourself while waiting. You have power in that waiting, power to observe, power to decide, power to stop romanticizing effort that isn't equal. Love is supposed to lift you, not leave you wondering. So if the distance between you starts feeling heavier than the love holding it together, it's not a sign to fight harder. It's a sign to look closer. Because real love doesn't drain you, it restores you, and maybe that's the awakening you've been avoiding. The realization that love shouldn't feel like constant doubt dressed as devotion. That someone who truly loves you won't make you question if you matter. They'll make sure you never forget it. Because love is not about chasing closure, it's about feeling chosen. Not once, but every day, even from miles away, especially from miles away. The kind of love that lasts doesn't fade in the silence, it speaks through it. It doesn't disappear when tested, it proves itself through time. That's what you deserve. A love that doesn't leave you waiting for proof, because the proof is already in how it makes you feel. Calm, certain, and whole. There comes a moment when you stop asking if he loves you and start asking if this love is honoring who you are, because love isn't supposed to shrink you. It's supposed to make you stand taller, even in the distance. When a man truly loves you, he doesn't wait for you to question it. He removes your doubt before it grows roots. His actions speak in the spaces where words used to fill. His effort tells you without noise or confusion, you still matter. That's not fantasy. That's emotional responsibility, the kind of love that doesn't vanish when things get quiet, the kind that doesn't ask you to beg for what should already be freely given. But somewhere along the way, we were taught to romanticize struggle, to believe that if it hurts, it must be real, that if you're waiting, it must be worth it. But that's not love, that's conditioning. It's the residue of stories that taught you to fight for connection even when it's bleeding you dry. Real love doesn't demand exhaustion. It doesn't ask you to lose yourself in the process of proving your worth. Love is not meant to feel like chasing. It's meant to feel like coming home. And if you have to constantly convince yourself that he cares, then maybe the truth is whispering louder than you want to hear. There's power in realizing that you don't need to be chosen to feel whole. You don't need his validation to feel loved. Because love that's real doesn't create dependency, it creates strength. It makes you softer, yes, but never smaller. When someone truly values you, they want to protect that softness. They don't test it to see how far it can bend before it breaks. They nurture it. They honor it. They understand that love is not ownership, it's partnership. It's not control, it's connection. And that kind of connection doesn't crumble under distance, it deepens because of it. So if you're watching this wondering whether he still feels the same, stop measuring his love by the frequency of his messages. Measure it by the depth of his consistency. Does he make time when it's inconvenient? Does he show up when life gets messy? Because anyone can love you when it's easy. It's when things get quiet, when distance grows, when the spark fades a little, that's when real love reveals itself. And if he's there, not because he has to be, but because he chooses to be, that's something you can trust. That's something you can build on. But if he's gone the moment attention isn't easy to give, then his love was never meant to last. Don't call that loyalty. Call it clarity. The hardest truth is this: distance doesn't break strong love. It only exposes weak foundations. And maybe that's what it's doing right now. Maybe it's not punishing you. Maybe it's protecting you. Because distance has a way of revealing who's meant to stay and who was only passing through. When someone loves you deeply, they will fight to keep the connection alive. They will make the effort feel effortless. They will remind you that no matter how far they are, you still have a place in their life. But when love is conditional, distance makes it crumble. And you deserve more than love that falls apart the moment it's tested. This is your moment to choose yourself, to stop trying to decode mixed signals, to stop making excuses for silence that speaks louder than words ever could. Because peace is the greatest proof of love. If it costs you your peace, it's costing you too much. You weren't meant to carry all the weight. You weren't meant to keep proving your value to someone who already knows it and still chooses indifference. You were meant to be met halfway, to be seen, to be felt, to be loved with intention, not convenience. So stop waiting for signs from him. Start listening to the signs within you. Your intuition has been whispering the truth all along. It's time to trust it. If he loves you, you'll know. It won't be confusing. It won't make you doubt yourself. It will bring calm to your storm, not chaos to your peace. Because love that's real doesn't make you question if you're enough. It makes you remember that you always were. And that's the kind of love worth waiting for, fighting for, and never settling for less than again. You can feel it when something real starts to fade, not in the loud moments, but in the quiet ones, when the conversations get shorter, when the laughter feels forced, when the distance isn't just miles anymore. It's emotional, and your heart knows it. You can pretend you don't. You can keep telling yourself it's just a phase, just stress, just bad timing. But the truth always leaks through. Love that once felt effortless starts to feel like work. And no matter how much you give, something inside you knows. You're the only one still holding the thread. That realization doesn't happen all at once. It comes in pieces, a missed call, a forgotten promise, a silence that used to feel peaceful now feels like punishment. That's how love slowly teaches you what it's not. But here's the part no one tells you. Letting go isn't the hardest part. It's believing that you still deserve the kind of love you hoped for, the kind that stays steady even when it's hard, the kind that doesn't disappear when you stop chasing it. Because when you've spent so long waiting, you start to mistake endurance for devotion. You start to think that the pain means it's worth it. But pain isn't proof. Waiting isn't love. If someone truly values you, they don't make you question it. They make you feel safe enough to stop searching for reassurance. That's the difference between attachment and connection. Attachment keeps you hoping, connection keeps you grounded. And the moment you realize that difference, everything changes. You begin to understand that love isn't about holding on tighter. It's about being met with the same energy you give. You deserve someone who makes you feel like a priority, not an option. Someone who keeps showing up because they want to, not because they feel obligated. Because love without effort is just a promise waiting to expire. The man who truly loves you will never let the distance make you feel alone. He'll bridge it over and over because that's what love does. It reaches. It shows up. It stays. It doesn't run from the hard parts. It grows through them. And if he's not doing that, then maybe it's time to stop romanticizing potential and start honoring truth. There's a freedom that comes when you finally stop waiting for someone to choose you, a lightness that comes from realizing you can choose yourself. You stop begging for love that hurts more than it heals. You stop mistaking inconsistency for mystery. You stop calling anxiety butterflies. And you start remembering what peace feels like. Because peace isn't boring, it's safe. It's knowing where you stand. It's waking up without the weight of wondering if you've been forgotten. That's the kind of love your soul was made for. The kind that doesn't need fixing. The kind that doesn't drain you to prove it's real. You don't have to earn love by suffering for it. You only have to allow yourself to stop settling for less than what your heart was built to receive. And maybe this distance was never meant to break you. Maybe it was meant to wake you up. To remind you that you were never meant to beg for emotional scraps. To remind you that real love doesn't confuse you. It clarifies everything. When someone truly loves you, they make it known. Not just through words, but through presence, through effort, through the feeling of peace that sits quietly in your chest. If you don't feel that peace, it's time to stop chasing and start listening. Your heart already knows what it deserves. Your body already knows what safety feels like. It's just waiting for you to trust it again. Because when love is real, you don't have to fight to keep it alive. It breathes on its own. It grows without force. It evolves without fear. And when you stop settling for half-hearted affection, you make room for something greater, something that chooses you back with the same intensity you've always given. That's not a fantasy, that's alignment. That's what happens when you finally stop chasing love that drains you and start attracting love that heals you. So don't let fear keep you holding on to what's fading. Let it teach you what to wait for next. Because the love that's meant for you will make you question it. It will make you remember who you are. The truth is, the love you accept becomes the mirror you live in. Every time you settle for inconsistency, you teach your heart that uncertainty is normal. Every time you wait for someone who keeps choosing silence, you convince yourself that love should hurt a little, but it shouldn't. Love is not supposed to be an emotional guessing game. It's not supposed to leave you scrolling through old messages, trying to decode what went wrong. Love is supposed to feel like exhale, not tension. It's supposed to feel like truth, not confusion. If he truly loves you, you won't have to wonder. You'll know. You'll feel it in the steadiness of his effort, in the way he keeps showing up even when life gets inconvenient. Because love is not proven by words, it's proven by presence. The right man doesn't disappear when things get quiet. He leans in. He doesn't give you just enough to keep you hoping. He gives you enough to make you feel secure. That's what real love looks like in distance. It's not about how often you talk. It's about how deeply you're connected when you do. It's about how his actions remind you that you still matter. And if that's missing, it's time to stop pretending it's there. Because the longer you hold on to what's fading, the further you drift from what's waiting for you. You have to understand, your heart is not designed to chase. It's designed to connect. And connection can't survive on uncertainty. It needs trust. It needs effort. It needs reciprocity. You can't build something lasting with someone who only shows up when it's convenient. You can't find peace in love that keeps you anxious. Because love that keeps you guessing is love that's teaching you how to lose yourself. The more you try to hold on to someone who's slipping away, the more you start to disappear in the process. And the hardest truth is that sometimes loving yourself means letting go of the one you thought would stay. There's a reason it feels so painful to walk away. It's not because you're weak, it's because your heart was sincere. You showed up with honesty in a world that often confuses vulnerability for weakness. But vulnerability isn't weakness. It's proof that you were brave enough to love with everything you had. And that's something to honor, not regret. The mistake isn't that you cared too much, it's that you kept caring after you stopped being cared for. That's the moment you have to reclaim your power. The moment you stop proving your worth to someone who already knew it and still let you question it. You deserve to be loved in a way that doesn't make you doubt yourself. You deserve to be met with the same energy you give. You deserve love that doesn't just say, I'm here for you, but proves it when you're miles apart. Because real love doesn't take advantage of your patience, it protects it. It doesn't test how far you'll go, it matches your effort every step of the way. That's the kind of love that distance can't destroy, the kind that holds you together even when everything else is trying to pull you apart. So if you're watching this, wondering whether he truly loves you, stop looking for signs in the distance. Start looking at the patterns. Is his presence consistent? Does his effort feel real? Does his love bring you peace or anxiety? Because your body already knows the truth. That knot in your stomach isn't confusion. It's your intuition whispering you deserve better, and you do. You deserve the kind of love that doesn't leave you questioning your place in someone's life. The kind that doesn't need to be chased, begged for, or explained. The kind that simply is steady, safe, certain. And when you finally stop chasing the wrong kind of love, something shifts inside you. You start to realize that peace feels better than being chosen by the wrong person. You start to understand that distance isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's protection. It's the universe pulling you away from what wasn't meant to stay. And when you let go, when you finally create space for something real, love will find you again. Not the kind that confuses or drains you, the kind that holds you, the kind that heals you, the kind that never makes you doubt that you're worthy of being loved deeply, completely, and without fear. There comes a moment when you stop waiting for someone to show up, and instead, you show up for yourself. That moment changes everything. Because when you stop hoping someone will make you feel seen, you begin to see yourself clearly. You begin to understand that love was never meant to make you small. It was meant to remind you of your own magnitude. And when you finally look in the mirror and see the strength that's been waiting there all along, you realize something powerful. Love isn't about who stays, it's about who helps you rise. If he truly loves you, He won't dim your light to protect his comfort. He'll celebrate it. He'll want you to grow, even if it means growing beyond him. Because real love doesn't cage, it sets free. It doesn't demand that you shrink to fit. It expands to hold who you're becoming. Every time you choose yourself, you're rewriting the story of what love means. You're teaching your heart that it no longer needs to beg for crumbs when it deserves the whole meal. You're breaking the cycle of emotional starvation that so many call connection. You're saying, I'm done mistaking intensity for intimacy, because love isn't supposed to leave you anxious, waiting for messages that never come. Love is supposed to make you feel grounded, secure, seen. And if you've been convincing yourself that distance is the problem, look closer, because distance doesn't kill love. Inconsistency does. Distance doesn't erase effort, silence does. The truth is, when someone values you, miles mean nothing. Their actions will still reach you, their energy will still touch you. And if it doesn't, that's your answer. Stop romanticizing uncertainty. It's not love, it's self-abandonment dressed as hope. The longer you wait for someone to meet you halfway, the further you drift from yourself. The waiting becomes a habit, the silence becomes normal. You start shrinking to fit the version of love they're capable of giving, instead of demanding the love you were made to receive. But here's what changes everything. The moment you decide that confusion is not affection, that inconsistency is not devotion, that attention that comes and goes is not care. Because love that plays hide and seek with your peace of mind isn't love. It's emotional control. And maybe it's time to stop calling that love. Maybe it's time to redefine what love means to you, to rebuild it from truth, not fantasy. To realize that the kind of love you're looking for doesn't come from someone who can't meet you. It comes from you remembering who you are without them. That's the love that lasts. The one that doesn't depend on replies or reassurance. The one that doesn't vanish when someone else does. When you finally give yourself that kind of love, everything else shifts. You stop chasing, you start attracting. Because people can feel when you've stopped needing them to fill your emptiness. They can sense the peace in someone who's whole. And suddenly the ones who only wanted pieces of you lose interest, while the ones who are ready for something real step forward. You become magnetic, not because you're waiting, but because you're walking. You're no longer the person who settles for almost. You've learned that almost love still breaks your heart, just slower. You've learned that it's better to be alone with peace than connected with chaos. And when you live from that truth, you stop fearing the distance. You stop fearing the silence. You realize that the space between you and them isn't emptiness, it's clarity. It's showing you where the energy truly flows. So breathe, let the silence speak, let the truth land. Because what's meant for you won't confuse you. It won't make you chase, question, or beg to be seen. It will meet you with presence, with effort, with ease. And when that love finds you, and it will, you'll recognize it instantly. It won't feel like adrenaline, it'll feel like home. And you'll know deep down that everything you walked away from wasn't loss, it was preparation. You were never waiting for him to love you right. You were learning how to love yourself enough to stop waiting. You've spent so much time trying to prove you're worth staying for that you forgot. You already are. You've been giving and giving, hoping that one day it'll be enough to make him see. But love doesn't work like that. It's not a reward for effort. It's a reflection of alignment. And if someone needs to lose you to recognize your value, they were never seeing you clearly to begin with. The truth is, when someone loves you, they don't leave you wondering. They don't make you question your place in their life. They don't disappear when it gets hard. Because real love doesn't test your limits, it honors them. It doesn't ask you to chase, it moves toward you too. You deserve someone who doesn't make your heart live on edge. Someone whose consistency calms you instead of their silence controlling you. You deserve the kind of love that speaks without words. The kind that doesn't need to be proven daily because its presence is already felt. And maybe right now, you're learning that love isn't what you thought it was. It's not constant reassurance or endless waiting. It's peace, it's trust. It's two people showing up for the same dream even when the world makes it hard. So if you've been wondering whether he loves you, stop listening to what he says. Watch what he chooses. Because words are easy, but love, real love, is built in the space between actions and silence. And when you start to see the truth, it might hurt. because you'll realize how long you've been holding on to potential instead of reality. You'll see how often you've romanticized the idea of him instead of facing who he's actually been. But that pain, that's the awakening. That's the moment your power returns. Because pain, when faced with honesty, becomes clarity. It stops being something that breaks you and starts being something that frees you. That's when everything shifts. That's when you stop asking, does he love me? And start asking, do I love me enough to walk away from what doesn't? You begin to see that love isn't supposed to feel like emotional gambling. It's not supposed to depend on whether he's in the right mood or has enough time. The kind of love that lasts is the one that chooses you every day without question.